Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first regular meeting of the Los Altos School District Board of Trustees for the current school year. I'd like to call the meeting to order. A recording and/or broadcast of this meeting is being made at the direction of the board, which may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. If technical difficulties occur or persist, the meeting will continue without broadcasting. We'll now take roll. Brandon?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
Stella?
Here.
Brian?
Present.
And I, Shelley, am here as well. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. On to tonight's agenda. Would any board members like to provide comment on tonight's agenda? Seeing none. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Stella. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Motion to approve tonight's agenda as presented was made by Stella, seconded by Jim. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Closed session report, no action was taken in closed session tonight. Superintendent's update.
All right, some updates for you. Welcome back. We are officially starting the 26-27 school year. Our staff folks have been busy preparing our schools. We'll do a more robust report on the opening of school. I think that's scheduled for the next board meeting. But we're so excited that everyone is showing up. We've seen lots of faces over the last 2 weeks of teachers and staff members coming back, which is wonderful. Of course, our students are starting school. First day of school is August 12th, Wednesday. Since we last met, some highlights for you. I think we had talked about on the last meeting that we had hired a principal, but we weren't quite ready to share her name. Of course, her name was released very shortly after that, but we're so happy to have hired Ellen Kraska to serve as principal up at Gardner-Bullis. I'm sorry I didn't have her here tonight. I will have her here as a meet and greet for you all next time, but Ellen has already jumped full in and is getting all the things ready up at Gardner-Bullis. So we're so happy that Ellen has joined us in LASD. I'm happy to report, and I feel like I should knock on wood, but we're fully staffed for our certificated teaching positions. And last week we had a chance to welcome, I don't even know the number, 20 or so new teachers to LASD. This group of new folks are a combination of brand new teachers and some very veteran teachers, but we're so happy that they have joined us. And it's always a fun time of year when they come back for their orientation and onboarding and what have you. We are currently working on our classified hiring, just kind of the last minute changes that come in and out over summer. So that is well underway. So lots happening in our HR world. Shortly after our last meeting, and then more recently, you've heard, I've let you know that we've had 2 fires on campus over summer, one at Gardner-Bullis, one more recently at Egan. Really want to thank for the one up at Gardner-Bullis, our 3 outstanding employees. The custodian up at GB, Paul Borba, was there, and also we had Scott Eaton and Adolfo Benitez from our maintenance team who were there and ran into action, got their fire extinguishers and put out that fire. Thankfully, even before the fire folks showed up. Over at Egan, that is a slightly different story, but we're working closely with our fire department. That was put out by the kids who appear to be high school kids who put it on fire and then quickly realized that they had put it on fire, and it looks like they were able to get it out. So want to thank Claire Crane, who's been working so hard to just make sure that we have plans in place to support students, and we'll work with the high school should we figure out who these other kids were, if they are indeed within our community, to make sure that things like this do not happen again. Wanted to remind you that this coming Monday, we have our welcome back kickoff with our certificated staff and other staff who are already starting back at work on Monday. If you can join us, we'll start 8:30. 8:30 will be the program, 8 o'clock for the mingling, but I know our staff loves to see you. Also on Saturday, the 15th, our first whole LASD event is the LASD Back to School Social. That will be happening at Almond on Saturday, the 15th from 5:30 to 7. Prior to that, that's for all families across our district. It's hosted at Almond. Prior to that, there will be a leadership social beforehand with LAFPTA, and if you're able to make it, that would be excellent, and district staff will be there as well. That will be just before at Almond. What else? We are working on a groundbreaking ceremony. We think the date is going to be the 19th of August. Still finalizing the time, but we'll have invites going out to community members. A really exciting time. And lastly, the community can come and chat with board members and or me on the 20th from 4 to 6 at the farmers market. Always fun.
It's a busy summer.
It is a busy summer.
Thank you. We'll move on to our consent calendar. Would any board members like to provide comment on tonight's consent calendar? Okay. Oh. Can I have a motion to
Oh,
approve?
can I,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
did want to make one comment. On the personnel action, I noticed, and you may notice if you look back, there's a revised personnel action that was uploaded. What time that was? 4:35 PM this evening. There was one error for the employee, I believe, who was listed as 2.2 on the action report, and she's not a 1.0 FTE, she's a 0.67 FTE. And then down below and at the last certificated person, there was some additional text there that should not have been there. So that's been removed. Sorry for that.
Oh, thank you. Then can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar with the noted change to E16 personnel action?
So moved.
Thank you, Stella. You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. Motion to approve the consent calendar with the noted change to E16 personnel action was made by Stella, seconded by Brandon. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Employee requests to address the board. Do we have anyone from that's interested? No? Nor from the school board? Okay. To provide public comment on an agenda item, speaker cards are to be submitted to the superintendent. Speaker cards will not be accepted once public comment begins. Your name will be announced when it is your turn to speak. And this time is now reserved for members of the public and employees to address the board on items that are not on the agenda. The board is not permitted to discuss or take action on non-agenda items, except to instruct the superintendent to review the matter further, report back to the board at a subsequent meeting, or place the matter on a future agenda. The board may make a brief comment or ask clarifying questions. Looks like tonight we have 4 for this agenda item. So how about give everybody 3 minutes each? Okay. This will be the order: George Tyson, Kelly Liu, Anvita Sinha, and Ahan Jain.
Let's go on.
No,
It's not.
It's not on my, it looks like. Hello, I'm George Tyson. You might know me as a city council member in the town of Los Altos Hills, and that's not what brought me here today. And it's less likely that you'll know that I was a Cupertino Union School District Board member and president, and back in the day. So the reason I bring that up is because I appreciate what you do in your service. It's a lot of work, and people come and bring complaints, and that's also why I'm not here today. So why I am here today is because I'm a community member who's involved with a Firewise community. which is kind of like neighborhood watch for fire safety, in particular wildfire. And I don't think you have to look too hard in the news to see why wildfire safety is such a concern for us. And so this is a community that it's divided into areas, and it has 331 homes and one school, Gardner Pulse, in that community. And so you mentioned it earlier about the fire that happened in this summer in June. And so I live quite close by. I saw what happened, and I got in touch with my buddy Eric Walkevich. And I said, I got some ideas for you on what we can be doing to make it safer out there, not just the weeds, but the brush and raising up to living the trees. And I got to say, they knocked it out of the park. They really went above and beyond. They took out a fallen tree. The crew was very responsive. That was Luis, Henry, and Austin. And the best part is they made sure that they did it before the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's especially valuable because there were signs of fireworks that were being lit on this nice bare dirt area that was much safer than it had been. So I'm here really just to express appreciation, to say it's wonderful having Gardner Bullis as our neighbor, and I'm glad that the school district is such a good neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate your comments. Sorry, I needed to put on my glasses. Kelly Lou?
Good evening, Los Altos School District Board members. My name is Kelly Liu, and I'm a rising high school senior. I'm also the co-founder and co-director of a nonprofit called Conserve, which is dedicated to advancing sustainability in K-12 schools. In California, school districts are one of the largest consumers of energy, and energy usage is the second leading district expense. As climate change intensifies, the students of today are increasingly forced to bear the immediate consequences through wildfires, which seems to be a hot topic in today's meeting, extreme heat, as well as air pollution that threatens student health and education. That's why I founded Conserve. And since Conserve's founding, we have passed resolutions in school districts such as Fremont Union High School District, Pleasanton Unified, Berryessa Union School District, and more, impacting over 420,000 students, committing districts to things such as climate literacy, building electrification, climate audits, solar panels, and many more. Based on doing some of the research on Los Altos School District, we've identified a couple of key areas in sustainability that we think the district could advance. Number one is a climate literacy resolution to expand opportunities for students to learn about climate change and environmental sustainability. Second is an Earth Day resolution to establish a direct district-wide Earth Day programming and activity to engage students and staff in environmental education and action. Third is a climate audit to conduct a district-wide assessment of current sustainability practices, as well as energy use, waste management, and identify other areas that are open to improvement. A climate action resolution would provide a roadmap to expanding these efforts while giving students opportunities to participate in creating a healthier and more sustainable school. I would love the opportunity to work with district staff and interested trustees in drafting a resolution that's specifically tailored to the school district to build on existing sustainability goals. Thank you for your time today, and I'm really grateful for your commitment of serving students within the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a resolution that you've worked with other districts?
Yes.
If you want to forward it to us, just so we can have an idea of that's like what you're thinking about.
Yeah, we can definitely send an email with a couple of resolutions that we've worked on in the past.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your work. Next, Anvita.
Good evening, Los Altos School District Board members. My name is Anvita, and I'm a rising ninth grader in Homestead High School. I'm a volunteer at Conserve, a nonprofit dedicated to advancing sustainability in K-12 schools. In California, school districts are among the state's largest energy users, with utility costs being the second highest operating expense for many districts. As climate change becomes more severe, students are increasingly experiencing its impacts firsthand through wildfires, extreme heat, and worsening air quality that disrupt learning and endanger their well-being. Conserve has passed many resolutions in many school districts, impacting over 420,000 students and driving district action on climate literacy, school building electrification, climate audits, and more. Based on doing research of this district, here are some key areas of sustainability that we see this district advancing. The first is replacing aging equipment and buildings with electric heat pumps and modern ventilation systems. Second is improving bike infrastructure, encouraging walking or carpooling, because they greatly reduce carbon emissions, as transportation is the cause of the majority of the emissions. Lastly, consider adding more reliable cooling, high-quality air filtration, shaded outdoor spaces, and backup power when appropriate to ensure students are safe and healthy. Please consider drafting a climate resolution around these areas. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to serving the students of this district.
Thank you. Next, Ahan.
Dear Los Altos School District Board members, my name is Ahan Jan and I'm a rising sophomore at Lindbergh High School, as well as co-founder and co-director of Conserve, a youth-led nonprofit dedicated to combating climate change by passing school board policy. I'm also a research intern at Harvard, Stanford, and Johns Hopkins, studying financial markets and policy. In California, as Anvita and Kelly mentioned, school districts are one of the largest consumers of energy per Harvard, and energy use is also one of the largest school district expenses. And as climate change intensifies and school districts are faced to bear the consequences of wildfires, extreme heat, and air pollution, students are increasingly threatened by their health and education. And that's why we started Conserve. Since Conserve's founding with past resolutions in county offices of education and school districts. Just a few weeks ago, we passed an air pollution resolution in Santa Clara County Office of Education, and this was one of the first ever county office of education resolutions specifically centered around the threat of air pollution in the United States. And based on doing research on Los Altos School District, we identified some more key areas of sustainability that we see Los Altos advancing. The first is air quality. So this can look like recognizing Clean Air Day or Clean Air Month, either on the first Wednesday of October. This year it's October 7th, or recognizing Clean Air Month on the month of May, or just dedicating some staff time to expanding particulate matter monitoring in the school district. The second is energy resilience and expanding renewable energy. And then the third is establishing a district, preferably student-led environmental committee. A climate action resolution would provide a roadmap for expanding these efforts while giving students opportunities to participate in creating healthier, more sustainable schools. And I'd love to work with district staff and interested trustees to draft a resolution tailored specifically to any of these needs. We've also developed a wide variety of templates and examples from districts across the state that would. Thank you for your time and commitment to serving students of this district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our students. Thank you for your work on climate action. All righty, we're gonna move on now to action and discussion items. First of all, volunteer authorization process.
Yes. So this is actually an update for you. Later in the meeting, you have a policy update that coincides with some changes in legislation having to do with volunteers. So wanted to talk a little bit. Obviously, we adore our volunteers as an elementary school district. I think it's important that we, make it easy for our folks. We don't want to put up roadblocks that are unnecessary. Every school district is kind of figuring out for themselves what the legislation means, not what the legislation means, but how their district is going to respond to what degree. I kept in mind this idea that we have lots of folks who want to be in their kindergarten classes or on a first grade field trip. So this may not mirror all of our neighbors, but it certainly complies to the intent of the law. So going forward, so you hopefully will be updating the policy so it is compliant with new state laws that start this year. for a new process for all volunteers. And I will just, this is the one that makes the most sense. So we are giving families until the end of December to determine what level of volunteer, if they are able to volunteer at school in some capacity, what level are they, and then what corresponding requirements are for that. So most of our volunteers are going to be level 1 volunteers. They're in the classrooms, they're in the library, they might help out in the office, they might attend a field trip, but they're not driving kids, or they're not staying overnight as part of that field trip. So for the generic level 1 volunteer, they have to fill out a basic form that we have online now. And then the new requirement is a TB risk assessment form that's signed by their doctor or nurse practitioner, or if that form indicates that they are required to have a TB test, that they get tested and cleared. So that's a one time that they need to do that, and then they'll be set to be a kind of your typical classroom helper volunteer. A step up from that is level 2, and these are people who may not always be supervised by an employee. And so that's our art docents, our living classroom docents. We certainly have people who mentor or tutor students. We have some schools where parents are running lunch club activities or STEAM lab activities at lunch without an employee with them. And then all of our overnight chaperones. These folks will need to do the TB portion, and they have to get fingerprinted, and they have to do the mandated reporter training. That is the new law. We understand that that limits some people who may not want to do fingerprinting because of their immigration status. This has come up as well, right? They don't want to get on somebody's list. So we really encourage those folks to be the level 1 volunteer, always under the supervision of an employee who is a mandated reporter and who has eyes on their volunteers. And then the third and final level of volunteering is if you're actually driving students. So if you are driving students, whether that's as a field trip or for sports, you have to do all the level 1, all the level 2, and then also just give us your driver's license information and your proof of insurance and liability coverage. What else do I want to say about that? That's probably the details of that, though. Yes.
Having previously been a volunteer at each of these 3
Yes.
levels,
Yep.
It's not without burden to comply with the requirements there.
Yes.
Is it have we considered whether it's possible to bring any of that on site to the
Yes.
schools for
Yep.
various?
Yes, so I'll go through our time. Yes, it is intensive. And some of these, so the TB is a one and done. The fingerprint is a one and done. You give us your driver's license, and if nothing changes, that's a one and done. The only thing that needs to happen yearly is the mandated reporter training. But so this summer, we updated our website. If you haven't had a chance, if you go onto LASD schools, you will see our volunteer website. We've created all the forms and ability for folks to upload the things. We've tried to make it very easy. We've linked the TB screener. They can bring it to their health person and have that done. We've done an initial communication out, and that will continue. We've started training principals. We'll train our office staff and teachers a little bit coming up. And we really want to deploy the live scan out to the sites. So working with principals, I don't want to fingerprint everyone if it's not necessary. If they're just going to be in the classroom, we want to make it easy. Brandon.
Sorry to derail your.
That's okay.
My experience was
Yes.
that live scan is available locally. The TB testing was quite some distance away to have to get to. The taking it to your personal doctor might be easier, but it's not the easiest always to get that appointment. So if there is the possibility of like bringing a practitioner of some sort on campus to do like a clearinghouse.
Right.
That might be a good idea.
Can I just ask a couple clarifying questions to the end,
Yes,
so you can finish?
sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Sandy doesn't.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think that's kind of the end there, right? So our goal is, yes, I can look into, is there like a nurse practitioner or somebody that we could deploy out? And I wonder if we might have some family or some folks in the community who could volunteer to do that. But want to give families enough time by the end of December. So we're not going to not allow someone to do a field trip or to do whatever they need to do until after January 1st. So hopefully that this gives people time to get whatever level of comfort they have completed. And we want to make it easy for people. So yes, give me your question.
No more questions.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, and I did have to get TB tested. It kind of was a hassle, but was able to do it like at a minute clinic,
Yeah.
like at CVS or something, which was also not convenient, but I was able to do that. But my question, and I'm sure this wasn't something that I glossed over, if you do have to be TB tested, it's just good for, does it expire?
So as an employee, we have to get TB tested. I don't remember if it's every 4 years.
Cause I know.
Like that, but the volunteer,
Uh-huh,
the language around volunteers is that you must have an initial and it's at the discretion
okay,
of the
alright.
district and the board to
okay,
regularity.
alright,
Cause if you travel someplace where there's a TB outbreak or something,
Sure,
they'd have to come back.
sure.
No? Right?
I have comments, but not questions.
Well, let me just gloss through public comment. Are there any requests for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Board discussion is open.
Yeah,
If we go back to the slide with the 3 tiers.
yes.
So this is something I was confused about when I was, a brand new kinder parent.
Mhm.
But if you sign up to volunteer in the classroom for an art docent lesson or a living classroom lesson, but you're not the person teaching it and you haven't received training on how to teach that lesson, you're
You're a
just a
level.
classroom
Yes.
volunteer. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yep. And I did clarify that with principals when they were coming around and when I talked with secretaries and folks, yes.
Right?
I mean, it's been a while since my kids did a field trip.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's one of the thing that jumps out at me is that like field trip drivers having to do the Keenan mandated reporter training seems like a big step change in terms of how far in advance I remember that being organized.
Yeah,
So I can imagine that's gonna cause some problems.
I have a quick question, and you may have mentioned it and may not have caught it. As people are going, even the level 1 volunteer, which I think, by the way, it's great that you have 3 levels so that everyone can participate whatever level they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a shortage of volunteers while people are getting tested and waiting for TB results to come back? Things like that.
so we're hoping that, it's August, whatever, 2nd, 3rd now. And people have until the end of December to get it done. That should be a reasonable amount of time to get all of those things coordinated, but sure, if some people who typically have volunteered for level 2 and level 3 may not want to go through the hoops. That is a reality, and I think that's a reality that every public school district is facing. This is not something that LASD specifically said that we need to enact all of these new barriers. Yeah, but that is the concern. And, we kind of had a slightly different version that I presented to the PTA presidents in the springtime. And that was their concern. Like, we don't want to create roadblocks for people. Our schools rely on volunteers. We love our volunteers. Teachers love them. The library folks love them. They do a lot of work in our schools.
I mean, I was kind of thinking about Brandon's point earlier. It's not that, not for the people who don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Let's say they want to do it
Yes.
and they've done it, but now they're waiting for because they've got to go to their doctor or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
waiting for the TB results to come
Yeah.
back before they can be clear.
Yeah.
Like that period of waiting.
So between-
Till December.
Yeah, so between now and December,
No, we're saying you can still volunteer between
Oh, you
those.
can still volunteer. Oh,
Yes.
got it. I thought I thought there's no volunteers
No, no, no.
until all of this. Oh,
Grace
okay.
period.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
a grace
thank you.
period.
To merge Charlie's and Brian's point, in the event that there's a field trip scheduled for which there are then not enough people who are able to drive in a particular class,
Sure.
do we have a plan to backfill that with a bus or something?
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at and work with staff to make sure things are backed up, right? And that there is a plan B. And we don't want the plan B to say, we're canceling the trip.
Right.
And then will this information be presented at back to school night as well?
We've talked about, printing out like a little poster or a flyer of
To
these
go in the
things.
folders?
Yeah,
And I have been hearing about it
Yes.
already, but we always have new
Yes.
families coming in.
yeah. And the original push around volunteers in the spring was a little more stringent. I think we really just had a level 2 and a level 3. So it's a little less intensive than it was originally presented as in the springtime.
Principals the last week, and they're like a weekly principal announcements, it's been all big announcements. Like the Howard.
Are there any more questions or comments? Okay, thank you. That's great. All right, next agenda item, ratification of agreement for environmental consulting services with Hazmat Doc.
Sure, so I'm not sure if you've been out to the San Antonio campus, there's nothing left. Both was, there was the elevator shaft in the old 24 Fitness, it was finally demolished last week. And then they're starting to now take up the concrete foundations and the parking lots and the asphalt. One of the requirements from ETSC and Bay Area Air Quality Management is we have to do air monitoring. So they're doing exterior air monitoring, there's a map, and there's 24 hours a day. Every day that work being done, so we don't have to do the air monitoring on the weekend unless there's weekend work. So there's a requirement to do this, and it's very expensive because they have to have the air monitoring samples have to be sent to a lab, then they have to be brought back and interpreted and read. And then there's reporting requirements to make sure we're not exceeding the dust levels. So we got proposals from 2 vendors, Hazmat Doc and TerraPhase. And because the work started about 2 weeks ago, we needed to execute the contract and we did a delegation of authority in June before we went on vacation. So tonight, this is a ratification, an action item to approve a contract with Hazmat Doc for time and materials not to exceed $631,200 for air monitoring at the San Antonio campus. And it's really going to be anytime there's dirt or earth moving activities where there's soil being disturbed. The beginning of the project is the most soil moving activity. That's because we're doing the underground demolition, all the utilities, all the moving around and grading is all happening now. And then as we get into vertical construction, we start putting steel up, there'll be a little bit less air monitoring requirements, but these are regulatory agencies and we have to comply. So this is an action item, so we're actually asking you to ratify the contract tonight.
Are there any clarifying questions for Eric? No? Okay. Are there any requests for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any further board discussion on this item?
I just wanted
Yes,
to
please.
thank Eric for, all the work that you've done on the construction site over the summer.
It's very exciting to see that it's actually coming, it's happening. All right, if there's no further comments or questions, I don't see any. Can I have a motion to approve the agreement with Hazmat Doc for environmental consulting services regarding the San Antonio campus project?
So moved.
Thank you, Stella. May I have a second? Is that Jim?
Yeah.
Thank you. Jim. Any further board discussion? No? Okay. Motion to approve the agreement with Hazmat Doc for environmental consulting services regarding the San Antonio campus project was made by Stella, seconded by Jim. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. board policy updates for review and approval.
All right, so we have two that we're hoping you've spent some time reviewing and will approve tonight. One is the volunteer assistance, which we've been talking about, the changes in legislation around volunteer requirements. And then conflict of interest is something we need to update every 2 years around just our positions and people, staff within LASD who are required to complete the Form 700. So it just has been updated with the correct positions.
Any clarifying questions? Any public comments? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any further board discussion? No? Okay. Then we have a motion to approve the board policy updates as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Stella. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. Is there any further board discussion? Motion to approve the board policy updates as presented was made by Stella, seconded by Brandon. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion passes unanimous. Board policy updates.
All right, so we're back to the regular cadence. So you have 3 policies to review between now and the 17th. If you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know, and we'll bring those back on the 17th for your consideration.
Are there any comments? Clarifying questions? No? Let's see, no public comment. Public comment is closed. Any further board discussion? No? Okay. Great, thank you. Moving on to board and administration comments. Carrie, will you kick us off?
Sandra spoke a little bit about hiring this summer. I want to thank Valerie and her team for all the work that been in place to make sure we're fully staffed on the certificate side, almost staffed on the classified side. Also thanking Greg for his team's work for professional development. It's been outstanding this summer. Just sitting in the leadership team retreat where Sarah Gerlinger presented and Greg led our work around deeper learning. It was just so inspiring, and I keep hearing that from all of the principals. But this afternoon, I want to highlight Val. About 2 years ago, we reduced a network administrator. And thankfully, he has some really solid expertise because we're having some network stuff that he's working through right now. We also have a tech specialist that went out on unexpected leave. And so that entire team has just stepped up to make sure we're ready for the school year to cover the sites. They're putting in extra hours and overtime. We do have a tech specialist temp posted if you know anyone. It's a really fun job. It's 30 hours a week, covering one of our schools. And that is expected through the fall at least, given the unexpected leave. But I want to thank his team, the IET team of Val, Donna, and Kim are just outstanding. I love getting a chance to work with them. And then one other director I work a little more closely with now is Lynette White, our director of communications. She's just on a short contract. I think it's 10 hours or so, but we're trying to up our socials game. So we're rolling with the parent square, trying to get more comms out in a streamlined way, but upping what we're doing in terms of social media. So we've got a whole content calendar for the entire year, spec'd out of 365 days pretty much of different content we're trying to get out and celebrate the good work that's happening. And with that, I'd love to highlight each of you as our board members and do a board member spotlight. We'll try to do that more with staff as well, so I can get some time with you and get some good photos and just some info in the coming meetings.
Thank you. Eric?
I want to acknowledge the maintenance staff, the maintenance and custodial staff. They've been working all summer. It was very nice of George to acknowledge the guys and Sandra as well about the staff that put out the fire. But they've been working very hard to get our schools ready, and whether we're ready or not, the kids are coming on the 12th. But you know, there's a lot of things that we're getting done that haven't been done in a while. We really appreciate Henry and Austin and all the staff. If you look outside Covington, you can see a lot of the weeds got cut down, the bushes got cut back. Doing a lot of big cleanup projects at all the schools, knocking the weeds down, trimming trees. So it's been a really busy summer. A lot of the playgrounds, Covington, Santa Rita and Loyola last spring, and then Oak this summer all had their playgrounds resurfaced and restriped. So it really freshens it up and also protects the asphalt. So I went and all that. And then the business staff, people always go, Eric, did you take vacation? I go, no, we're closing the books, right? So I want to acknowledge Elizabeth and the business staff. A lot of people work very hard over the summer to get the financials closed. We'll be highlighting those at unaudited actuals in September. And then, since we met last, well, the state finally approved their budget. So we'll be highlighting some of those changes in September as well. And then, Sandra mentioned that we have, a little slide deck, kind of before and after pictures to highlight all the work that gets done, kind of behind the scenes, and really getting the teachers ready to go, and they'll be here soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one quick class plug.
Yes, yes.
Rotary Art in the Park is this upcoming weekend. So if you are able to go out to Lincoln Park, okay.
Right. Right?
No.
No? No.
Me?
Jim, sorry.
No, I attended the new teacher lunch.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good to see all the new teachers, you and Brandon were there also, but I mean, it was nice to see them. They all looked happy and enthusiastic, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I also had a chance to go to the new teacher lunch, so good to see, new faces. What else? Last week, same day, I had a chance to tour, Sunnyvale Middle School campus, who's adopting some of the new classroom.
Folia
Folia
construction, yes.
construction. That's being used for the San Antonio site. So those are very impressive buildings, and also learned that they have some new footprints and floor plans that are on the cusp of being approved that might be candidates for some of our other campuses. And over the duck game at the Art of My Festival.
Yes.
And I got dunked a lot of times.
He was great. He, like, the person coming after him didn't show up, so he got dunked for an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Did you know the people dunking you? Like,
No.
No.
Not that you know of.
Good.
Yeah,
I did the dunk tank also. I got dunked 18 times in 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So, well, I kept letting the little kids have
Oh.
free, like, I've gone.
Yeah.
But the person who showed up after me showed up early, as a matter of fact, so I didn't have to spend an hour with Brandon.
Yeah,
So it was good.
the kids asked me how many times I was dunked, and I didn't count, but I was guessing there must have been 50.
My dad counted, of course, right? Like, my dad counted, so. Yeah, I had an unusually busy July, usually kind of fun. There's a few things that I've been doing that I just wanted to call attention to because it impacts our district. I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that our district gives me to do some of this stuff. In July, I attended a convening for the California Academic Partnership Program, which is out of UCLA. It's an 18-month certification program whose goal is to translate data and research discoveries into equity-minded school reforms, effective public policies, and institutional practices. The program ends in December, so I'd like to give a little bit of an update at a future meeting, what I've been up to. I attended the AAPI Elite Conference in Los Angeles because they have an education-focused track. And we had a very long discussion on AI policies in school districts and what other districts, not just in California, but like around the country are doing. I was a panelist on a panel about eating disorders in communities of color. I spoke about how students can advocate for mental health services and specifically support for students with eating disorders. The panel was sponsored by Project EDSA, which is Eating Disorder Support and Awareness, and the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders. Fun fact, Project EDSA was co-founded by a Bay Area high school student. And it's really nice because we saw like those high school students who during their program. And then it was really awesome to attend the new teacher lunch last Thursday. I love that so many people have chosen us as their district. So looking forward to that. All right, that's it, guys. Meeting adjourned.